Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping Kane. Today's layout is for the twin series that I do with my friend Christine Harden here on YouTube. This is a sketch we're going to be using. We're also going to be using a kit from the Scrap Room kits. And we picked the 49 and Market kit. The Scrap Room kits come with 4 different like little mini kits together. And we chose the 49 and Market one. And here I have 2 photos of my son when he turned 10. There's quite a few embellishments in here, but most of them go more with apples. So we're going to go ahead and use the 2 photos of him turning 10, but I'm going to bring in a stencil and stamps to kind of make it more for the theme of turning 10, because the other embellishments I'm going to save for photos of him that I have eating a caramel apple. So that'll be later this week. But these 2 photos fit perfectly with the sketch, and I'm going to go ahead and create that. So here we have this mixed media looking background paper, which I absolutely love the opposite side of it. This one here, I'm going to use part of it to map the photos. It's a very light yellow flowers on the other side. And then this one here I love. And it's like a burnt orange color, and then it has green leaves on the other side, kind of mixed media. And then it came with 2 pieces of cardstock. I am going to use one of the cardstocks. And of course, that's why I brought the stencil in, because I can't leave white cardstock white. That's just not me. So I'm just not going to do it. So I brought in some mixed media stamps from my stash, and I'm actually only going to end up using one of the splatter ones, and then the one that had numbers on it was one of the first ones I showed. And here I have some Shimmers paints, and I actually use those only for splatters. I end up using the Distress Oxide through the stencil. I wasn't sure which one I would use through the stencil, but I do end up using the Distressed Oxide. So this ends up being quite the mixed media type layout versus anything else. That's mainly what the filming part is the mixed media part. Once I get that done, the rest of the layout just comes together. So here you can see I have it set up. I have my little stamps ready to go, or my sponges. And I'm just going to stencil along the top and the bottom, because there's a torn piece that goes in the middle. So I didn't want just white at the top and the bottom. So I'm using the stencil to add leaves, and I'm just turning it and putting them in random order. There's no like set way that I'm putting them down. And I did it with the yellow first, which is scattered straw, and then this one here, I don't remember the name of that, but it's just a lighter green color. And then this one here is rusted hinge, and that orange pretty much matches the orange paper that I'm going to place in the background. And then I'll bring in one more, which is vintage photo, I believe, which is the lighter one of the browns, in Distress Oxide. And again, I'm just randomly placing it. This one, I am kind of placing it over the other leaves. So if there's like a green leaf, and also a white space showing, I'm doing it in both the white space and over the green leaf to mix the colors. And some of the other colors are mixed together too. But again, it's just kind of mixed media, so it doesn't really have to be perfect. And here I'm just splattering with the Shimmers paints in the matching colors, and that just gives it a little bit more pop and a little bit more color. And I just keep splattering until my little heart is content. And I did splatter with coal, which is black also. And now I'm distressing the edges with black ink. And then I'm also going to distress the edges with brown vintage photo distress oxide around the edges. And that just brings the color in a little bit more on the edges and just makes it look more like a frame. So there, we're done with the mixed media portion. I'm going to map my 2 photos, right here in the corner of this paper and then cut them out together and keep them just like that. They're not going to like overlap or anything like that. I'm just going to keep them right together so it almost looks like a 4x6. And I'll pop the sketch in right here just to give you a little reference of what I was going off of. But you can see the torn edges and then the two photos. And basically, I kind of flipped it too because more of my embellishments are going to be on the left-hand side versus the right-hand side. And in the sketch, they show like two tags up here at the top of the photos. Instead, I'm going to pop in that frame up there at the top, and I'll pop in another clear acetate piece closer to the end of the layout. And then this film strip I cut so that I could use on a piece on the top and a piece on the bottom. They have torn paper, or just papers. They're not torn. They're just strips of papers at the top and the bottom. But instead of doing that, I decided to use this film strip to represent that. And I'm just inking up one of the other little tags. This one says Hello Fall. And instead of it saying Hello Fall, I just want it to represent the brown color in the layout and put a little bit more brown up there. And they actually weren't taken in the fall. They're actually taken in winter, I guess. They were taken around his birthday in February. So probably late February, actually. And his birthday is February 14th. So it's definitely not fall. It's more winter heading into spring. But it looks like fall because you can see all the dead, leaves and grass and stuff around him. And we're in Colorado, and just happened to be there was no snow on the ground when we took these pictures. So it looks like, nice little fall photos, but they're really not. And then the little J that I got for the bottom was from the word joy. And instead of joy, I decided to cut off the OY and just use the J to represent his name, Julian. And then here you can see I'm stamping the stamp that has the numbers and a little bit of like, I don't know, it has like different little distressing marks on it that go in the background of the numbers. But you can see the numbers, and I thought numbers always represent, an age or your birthday. So that's the reason I used that stamp. And I was going to add a title like 10 years old or something like that, but I have other photos from the same day. We just did a cute little photo shoot, and he actually allowed me to take photos of him and participated. And I got some cute photos of him. These two weren't the best photos, but they're definitely cute little photos for his personality. So I went ahead and used those today. And like I said, I have other ones that I've already scrapbooked or I plan on scrapbooking. And at that time, I can add his age to those layouts. So one of them does have his age, and one of them he's holding up both of his hands to represent age 10. So I definitely don't need each of them to say age 10. So I decided just to put the hello up here so you can actually see it, but I'm going to cover it up with this little banner that says so awesome. Right now I'm just tucking in the little leaves. The acetate leaf I cut since it was a little bit big, but also so that I could place it up on the left-hand side at the top and down at the right-hand side. So I always want my embellishments to be, if it's diagonal, I want them to be represented in each area. And since the scrap room kit gives you minimal embellishments, I had to cut this one to make it work for both areas. And this one here said grateful something. I'm grateful for you, I think, which would have been okay for this layout, I guess. But instead, I decided just to tuck it in and use just the color of it instead. So that's what I did there. And down at the bottom, I also, on the left-hand side, I tucked in the other little piece of that red envelope. I just used it basically just for the red color, to represent the red color. I was just adding a little bit more ink right there. It didn't seem to be even. And then I'm going to bring in sequins from Spiegelmom Scraps. And these are fall cider, which match perfectly with this collection. And I'm just going to pop a few in around the layout. And pretty much I'm done. So I'm excited to see what Christine created. I'm pretty sure she created a wedding layout, which she's been working on her daughter's wedding photos. And I'm excited to see what she came up with and which products she got in her kit. Because we each get different items. So I'm curious to see if she got more stuff that represented stuff she could use for the the wedding photos, because the stuff that I got definitely would not have worked for wedding photos. So I'm curious to see what she got. But that's pretty much it. Except I'm adding a few little sequins here, and then I will hold it up and show you. And then I will also have some close ups at the end. And I always have so much fun creating these layouts with Christine and seeing which one, how she represents the sketch and how I do. And we'll see what she creates. So go check out her channel, and I'll have her link down below. And that's going to be it for me. I will have another layout up tomorrow. Bye.